Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. It's that time for the daily news. So thank you, Scott, for the solo and Prizewall coin breakdown. Yeah, so I guess the elephant in the room is in the Crazy Chick faction contest. Your faction maxes, there's enough points in the solo event, 22 million. And to max the solo event takes 12 million. Yeah. So anyway, probably you're maxing this and it's probably not intended? Question mark? I guess, right? I'm assuming there's an extra zero on everything. And it's supposed to be 2.2 million because that would add up a lot better. But leaderboard has up to 12 million. That would max it alone from the leaderboard. So it looks like the leaderboard also has an extra zero on it for the faction event. Anyway, yeah, there's a bunch of AJ Lee shards and a few spiderweb currencies in there. So I don't know if that'll stand or not, right? It's 1:45 when I'm recording this, an hour and 45 minutes after the event went live. Crickets on Discord, haven't heard anything, so as far as I know, it's not going anywhere, but you never know. Long story short, 6.3 million in tours. Feud Battleground event has up to 5.6 million. Faction event up to 22 million. Portal 120,000. CSS up to 900,000. And then your Battleground, or your total is 34 million plus faction leaderboard plus CSS plus Battleground leaderboard of the 12 million you need. There's 22 million more plus leaderboard stuff. So, yeah, anyway, Prizewall coins, you don't get a ton even if you max the solo. It's 22 total, and that's assuming you get to 200 million war score. So 3 free in the solo, 8 more maxing the solo. So a faction event has 1, feud battlegrounds 10, requires 200 million, so 14 free-ish, 22 if maxing it. Yeah. Feud Battlegrounds also has the special thing going again where for the each round, and they didn't say where is this? I'm in the wrong one. The faction event, each round, they didn't say if it was going to be a different score required, but 38,560,000 gets you the crazy chick nerd glasses, which is another thing. So if you can get that 4 times, you'll want that. Also, if you're wanting more medallions, keep in mind that you can purchase where are you? One more for $20, or if you miss one, and that gives you 5. So you get 6 additional medallions for 20 bucks. So if you're close to something and 6 medallions makes a $20 difference to you, then you can snag that and then the other one gives you the Nerdy Champions case, which is kind of like a chest of disappointment, right? It can be incredible. Or it can be a dud. Right? So yeah. Those are really fun though if you get something good. I actually haven't yet. So you never know. Yeah, but anyway, that's worth noting as well. As far as the solo milestones, I guess it's worth it to push to all of them because your faction should push, right? It's 10,000 for spending a crazy chick loot coin. Here's your CSS. AJ Lee, Challenge Tour, West Coast Pop Ray, Dom, Seth Rollins Visionary, Blackman, and Armor King. So those are there. I mean, if you need them, I guess where it'll matter is ranking rewards for 10. I mean, there's extra shards maybe for like 100 people. Pushing and getting all the extra stuff, maybe it's worth it for AJ stuff. So I guess that's all still in play. And the rest of us just get to max it, which is cool. It's just confusing. So Scott was the same way. He was like, hands up, question mark. I guess, right? So yeah. I guess that's what we say about that, right? As far as the battleground milestones, the bonus ones, the typical, not really exciting. The shards are cool, but you have to play a ton. 250% random straps. Gem damage are nice. One random gem defense one, meh. 650,000 points, some bags, but that's a lot of extra feuding for those. 200 million gives you your last 4 medallions, 2 chests of disappointment, a metal case that's usually disappointing as well. So that's what's in there. So 200 million is kind of the cutoff of worth going, depending on how else you do. And there's some other stuff along the way, right? If you're wondering about it, gold chest there, and let's see what's in the near ones there. Some TP and stuff. I mean, definitely need it. I need all the TP I can get. The bag coins potentially, or the loot that's not worth buying, right? More TP. Moment token, bag, chest of disappointment, some solo points. 100 million S3, so that would be like your next cutoff point. 3 medallions at 100 million. And let's see if there's any between 100 and 200. Nah. Yeah, so really your breakpoints are kind of gold chest, 100 million, 200 million. You know, and then if you're close, you might as well grab the next one. So yeah, let's actually take a look at that prize wall now. Actually, let's also go here. So bonuses, 1 pull, 2 pull, 3 pull nets you 1, 5 pull nets you 10 Dom shards, AJ shards, 7 to get 2 extra medallions, right? Some AJ, some Dom at 16, 40 pull, 100 AJ and stuff, right? So you have to do 47 pulls actually to get these other 5. So the medallions are not cheap, right? And then 8 more for another 7. So this is kind of like your medallion break, but it's a healthy investment to start before you start getting there. And then you got to go another after this, 100 and crap ton, 160 to get to those 10, right? AJ at silver, and then just medallions all the way up at 400 freaking pulls. So like it goes down significantly in value from here, other than AJ shards, right? But that's 2 megas to get that 100. And up to 100, there's what? So like if you're like thinking value chasing as many AJ shards as you can, the 10 pull, or the actually 10 to 16 is kind of the sweet spot value wise. I would say the 16, right? That gets you 150, another 150, 300, 350 extra AJ shards for 16 loot pulls, right? So that's kind of like your value breakdown if you're thinking long term. 16 loot pulls, 350 extra AJ shards. But after 47, the 55 actually, the value completely drops out. But for AJ shards, it stops at 40, right? So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. As for how many AJ shards are available in the news, what we have here is 3,200 in the solo, right? So that means you need to make up 1,800 more AJ Lee shards. She's a 5,000 shard recruit. So there's 500 in store offers, 1450 in loot milestones. And yeah, the store offer, there's 350 for 10 bucks. So like the value point would be those basically 16 pulls, and then at the $10 offer, and that's 700 extra pulls. That still puts you at 3,900, 1,100 away from her. So then it starts to get like really expensive after that, or really difficult. So if you're like a long-term recruiter in a small like dolphin, that's what I would target, is that 350 and the 16 pulls, and then like move on from there. There's an 8 pull that has 20 bucks. That's got 8 pulls, 30,000 solo points. Not that you need any of them, right? On the portal. So you might think about something like that, and then, you know, kind of see what pops up the final day. And there's also the offer where if you want to buy medallions, it's a discount on the first day. It's 7 pulls with 3 medallions for 25, right? So that's kind of how I would approach it as far as your breakdown, either completely free or an extra 700 shards at value, up to a 40 pull. And then after that, your value drops out, and it starts to become more and more expensive, right? All right, so back to the Prizewall. CM Punk for 60. I don't know. You're gonna have to spend a lot to get to 60. Let me check the bonus milestones for you guys too, and see if there's any medallions in the spend milestones. If so, where are they? Looking at none in 70, none at 100. Nah, so it's all in the loot. So the medallions just don't really seem to be there. The $200 flagship has 20 medallions in it, though. So you're probably looking at something like that. The $200 flagship to get to 60, right? The 120 for Regal gear is grossly overpriced, in my opinion. Punk gear is much more relevant, right? Free to play is definitely looking at this gear. Piper Nevin gear, that's what I'm all in at 10. Ludwig Kaiser gear for 10 might interest some people, but I think the Piper Nevin is exciting there. Lita's gear is not exciting. 60 for the Punk's gauntlets. Again, you're probably looking at having to get the flagship to get there. Red Crossfire is pretty good on Ray, triple red, actually. So not a bad plate at the 30 token mark, but again, you know, you're not getting there free. Straps, I always hate the pricing. No difference here, right? 150 percenters. Hall of Fame McCool 1 for 10 isn't bad, actually, comparatively, but after that, you know. Here's what I'm looking at on Mherex is the Visionary Seth shards, because I didn't recruit him. So 22 for 200, I would take that. Blackman, if you were chasing Blackman, up to another 350 shards of him. So there's that. Dom shards if you're close. That can put you over the top at 17. Not super good. Those are kind of expensive, really. These are coming down a little bit, but still really overpriced. Punk shards pretty decent. EO, but the El Grande shards at 9 and the Julia, I like those. Haku seems really cheap at 10. Drew's okay. Kofi's okay, right? Devon, pretty not bad. Woods, 275 for 7. Free to play is also looking super hard at that. If you don't have Mellow yet, what are you doing with your life? You're buying all of these because he's incredible. Penta, I'd be interested in some of these, trying to evolve him, but 150 is not a good chunk. Roxanne's an amazing trainer. So yeah, Carmelo, I would value these super high. Jay's required all the time, and these are pretty cheap. So there's that. And Jacob Fatu shards for 2 is the steal on here. If you still don't have Jacob Fatu, my free to play doesn't, still a ways away. Definitely worth 4 for 400, 100%. And then King Kong Bundy 3 for 200 is not bad. These are terrible. And then it's just Econ with what's left over. Not really a fan of any of that. So, I mean, for 22, assuming they don't do something with the solo contest, the faction contest, I mean, 22, there's a lot of good stuff. You can get 350 Haku shards. That might get close to recruiting him for a lot of people. 3 sets of wood shards. for example. 2 sets of Carmelo shards, right? A bunch of 2 sets of Roxanne shards, no problem, you know. A bunch of Julia shards at 9. You get 2 sets of Julia shards, 1 of Kofi, 2 of El Grande, right? So I think it's fine if you're missing from CM Punk down, Dom, CM Punk, Seth. If you don't have any of those, there's something for you. If you have everything, then it's a really bad prize wall, in my opinion. Punk's Gauntlets doesn't have super high value. It's good on a decent amount of people, but it's been around for a while, and 60 is really expensive. And then, like, these are just kind of out of the league. Bubba for 10's not bad, too, if you need some help at Reality. He's Reality, right? I believe he's Reality. He's not bad for some of those wrecks, so he's not bad at 10 either. You might consider him, right? But all in all, I would say grossly overpriced, especially for what it is, and good luck getting there. Punk's Gauntlet's a great plate on the people it's good on, so Punk, Acro Punk, Naya. You can use it on AJ Lee, but I prefer her other movesets big time. Liv, right? Just to name a few. I'm blanking on some more. There's definitely more, but it's solid. Yeah, this is mostly a shard prize wall. So if you're missing some and you can get some shards for free, cool. If you can't, then this is probably a super not good prize wall. But like, I mean, I think a lot of people are still missing Haku. Maybe they're still shortage Julia, Kofi, and you can put a dent in some of those shards. So I think it's kind of a sort of a tale of tale of two stories, right? Depending on where you're at. But the high end stuff is pretty bad, right? This has got a very low high end, very, very low high end. So for what it's worth, yeah, I don't know if that helps, but that's where I'm at on that. Other than that, kind of a, you know, it's the last day for Titan Takeover of the week before the rest period. We got technicians up, so you will be Mherex wishes that wild card would have been there for him, for sure. So you'll be using your tricksters today, right? And I can't buy the wild card, and yeah, we'll just keep saving this win. So that's where I'm at there, and we went through that event. There's nothing else expiring today. Speed tour, you're gonna want to do that. Get this prop here. I get that every day. Almost there for Bundy. Needs to get a strap that won't be affiliate. Oh, not that I'll ever get Charlotte on this account. And here, getting close to Cena, right? So we got that. Sorry, I like zoned out for a second there. Pretty bad. Tours. Let's take a look at tours. So the challenge tour was not bad. It was I used Roman OTC. This is a modern era rec here. This one I believe is Striker and Raw. Just Striker. And the last one is Raw. Roman was good for all of them. OTC Roman, you can use male or female, so pretty good on the challenge tour. Crazy Strikers is kind of rough for me as far as hell mode goes, because Roxanne's going to struggle against this McCool, and Sonya, unless you have her leveled all the way at gold, will too, because McCool has her triple green. She's got the kick out, and it's loaded, so she's going to heal every turn, so you have to do 71 million damage to get through her kick out, right? Or use an MP. It's a 1 MP charge too, so you can't use an MP down prop. Well, I guess you could use an MP down prop and it wouldn't fill up. If she doesn't have a matchy match, that'd probably be how you do it. But she does have a big metal, so you won't be able to cheese it, right? So yeah. That one's a little bit rough. This is the McCool tours on this one, Hall of Fame, right? So those are no big deal. NBD, Blissfully Crazy is the Bliss ones. So either Twisted Bliss or Striker Bliss. And yeah, this is if you get what's her face earlier or AJ, the top medallions. Is it 24 hours? Or just the bonus rewards end, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So Crazy Chick Tours 24-hour contest, Superstar rewards, and Saturday. These are usually you get the top. Yeah, the CSS go away. So you would miss out on 3 there if you got her at the end of 3 there for 6, and that's 12 total. And 40 hype for her there. And there's 20 total medallions there. So if you get AJ, you get a lot more Prizewall stuff. If you don't, it's kind of rough. So anyway, that's where that's at. And is there, I guess we can look at the offers. We talked about a lot of them already. Trish, pretty solid at gold. I did a video on her today, 13 pulls, $40. I don't hate this one at all. If you got the right plates. So that's a pretty solid one with pulls. Trish Stratus, decent coach, not a good fighter, $10. Okay, if you don't have her, I guess at gold. Saves you the trouble of evoing. Same thing with Twisted Bliss for 15 in pulls. I don't mind them if you want them. I hate that they're selling hype. Expect to see a lot of hype for AJ Lee's out of the gate because she's super good. So I expect if people pull her, the whales will be buying this. I wouldn't personally. Nerd glasses, we talked about that and why that's beneficial. 24-hour timer on these. If you know you're going to need more medallions and it's worth it to you, do that math. Starter pack, the solo points no longer really matter. Unless you're somehow going for a top 100. So, but 4 pulls for $10 isn't bad. Some faction points, I guess. I don't like the econ ones per usual. So I don't like that one either. I don't like steps. I also don't like the prop packs. But it is what it is. And this is a good offer because of shards, but there's a better 99 one on the portal. I believe that gives you 100 shards. Yeah, there's a $100 one on the portal, 47 pulls, 100 shards, solo points, a strap. And then the flagship has 101 pulls. No shards though, but 20 medallions, right? So 101 with the 20 medallions is probably going to get you to the bonus milestones for the 60 or very close, I would imagine, but I didn't math that specifically. So, yeah, I don't buy these on Mherex. Some people like them, the collector's packs. I don't. These are definitely not worth it. And here's the bags. So I like going for these. They are equal odds. You either get lucky or you don't, though. So let's see. On Mherex, I'll be going for the ones with Seth in it on the last one, right here. And I probably would think about going for the Woods ones on this character. But Mherex is after Visionary Seth shards, so yeah. But if you're close to like Vicaire or Austin, Ray, any of those, just pick the bag and go for it, and you can put a dent in it. If you do a bunch of feuding, a lot of times you can come away with somewhere between like 40 and 120 shards of the character you're after. And bag pull, let's see if we get anything good. Nothing too exciting there. And yeah, I think that's it other than taking a look at the loot itself. From what I've seen, by the way, so far, guys, it's back to you get way more shards again. So don't expect to hit the posters. It's back to shards again. 1% unfeatured, so odds are you won't hit the featured other than the 40 pull guaranteeing 2. 1 guaranteed mega rare on a 7 pull. Obviously, some good stuff in here, right? All of these actually are incredibly good. But most of it is AJ shards. But the posters are all great. Every one is very good, very strong. And 60 to 500 AJ shards. And then you got mega rare AJs in there as well. These are still pretty strong, getting a little bit less. Pretty good mix, really. Actually, pretty good mix. They're all 6 stars. It's very diluted though, right? And then it's getting worse now. It's definitely getting worse and it's super diluted. But also AJ Lee shards in here. Chance to hit 50 there. And then you move down to the rare. And if the one above is diluted, this one will be. But a bunch of different shards in this one, including AJ, and then commons. AJ Lee in the comments. So I think if you're a shard recruit person, it looks like it's back to being better to get her, unlike Seth, which shard recruiting was basically impossible. Comparatively, it seemed like more people pulled posters than hit shards of him in the loot, and that should tell you something based on how often you hit posters. So I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, this is back to pulls. So I think the loot's fine. If you're chasing her, right? Like shard recruiting her sort of thing and want to get a few. Um, Standard, I don't think it's amazing. It's just normal. And like I said, I would kind of look at it value to AJ shards. I mean, 40 pull is probably your spot. And then if you want 12 more medallions, then do 15 more, kind of thing. So otherwise, shut her down at like 16 pulls for your 350, just to get a decent chunk of her. Anyway, that's my take on it, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. I got a decent amount of content planned for the next couple days, so do me a favor and check it out. I'd appreciate that. Let me know what you think in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. And that, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck out there. Have a good weekend. Lots of feuding, 2 accounts.